Hello, and welcome back to the next big thing, the podcast that seeks to inspire you, motivate you to do bigger, greater things in life. And helping me on this mission every week is a wonderful guest. And yes, this week is no exception. Joining me on the podcast is one of the most wonderfully inspiring people that I have had the pleasure of meeting. He is an elite broker. He's also the owner of many awards. He was recently nominated for Broker of the Year by the industry, and he is the founder of KRIA Mortgages. So welcome to the show, Rishi Bhatia. Rishi, how are you doing?
Hey Sriram, thank you for having me. Really happy to be here and be part of this amazing journey that you started.
Fantastic. No, thank you. Thank you for coming along. And as I said, the whole podcast was born out of the simple idea that somebody somewhere inspired me, motivated me to do more with life. And I want to pass that on. And this podcast is simply a medium that enables me to do that. But of course, I couldn't do it without wonderful guests like yourself. So thank you for being on the show and for sparing time. Now, you know
Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure.
Yeah.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. You know how the show works, right? So the guests have to come. And before we get into anything, they share two statements about themselves. Now, one is fact, one is fiction. And only they know that. So this is going to test me. And I go out on a limb, put myself out there like I do, and have to guess which one's fact and which one's fiction. Have you got two statements for me?
Yeah. Okay. First one, I've run a marathon. And the second one is I've ridden on a motorcycle to the highest motorable road in the world.
Wow. I actually honestly do not have a clue, which is very interesting because we do interact on a frequent basis. And I did not know both of these things about you. So obviously one of them is fact, unless you're throwing a curveball, and both are, complete figments of your imagination. So A, let me replay this. So A, you've run a marathon, and B, you have motored on the highest motorable stretch of road in the world.
Correct.
Okay. Again, it's a pure guess. I think you've actually motored on the highest motorable stretch on the world.
That is true.
Is that right? Is that true?
Yes, and I have actually not run a marathon, so you got it spot on, Sriram.
Wow. Now tell me about this. When did this happen, and where is this place?
So this happened in 2004. Again, my memories, if my memory is not failing me. So went with a group of friends again. I'm being part of Chinmay Mission since I was a kid, teenager, and as part of this, all the youths, we got together and we're like, let's just go from Himachal, from Dharamsala, where Chinmay Mission has an ashram in Sidbari. From there, we took bikes. We went to Amritsar, to Golden Temple, and then we came back and and we were planning to do from essentially Manali to Leh on bikes. So so this was that journey in 2004. I'm not again, my memory 304.
Wow.
304.
And that is the highest point on earth, which allows for you to have motorcycles
bikes or even it's a road, highest motorable road in the world. The Khardungla Pass, and did that. 11 bikes. We were 4 cars. We were almost 50 of us, so a lot of fun. Very dangerous. Very exciting.
It sounds exciting.
So snow-capped roads, snow-capped mountains, ice on the roads, you name it. It was just an amazing experience, which I can never ever forget.
Yes, I mean, I don't know if I will ever be able to do that, but you've painted wonderful visuals for me. So I was able to see a lot of these things, and maybe even imagine you in all that, biking gear and stuff.
No, in fact, we didn't go with any biking gear. We went totally unprepared. We didn't have.
Really?
Only after coming to Australia, you realize that people change their bikes, their tires, and all that. We just went.
Well, you obviously
on a limb in that sense.
Obviously, went and came back and lived to tell the tale, and on a limb with all your limbs intact. So good. Okay, fantastic. This is very thrilling. But I want to explore this further, right? This was how many years ago? 20 years ago?
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
2004, yeah, 20 years ago.
So there.
God, we sound old, Shriram.
Rishi, we're seasoned. That's how I'd like to put it.
Yeah.
So, when 20 years ago, 2004, obviously there was this element of risk, of spontaneity involved in this decision to do that. And I know that you were in the professional workforce, you were in the corporate side, and then you started your own business, which also brings with it its own risk. So I want to understand your approach to risk. How calculated are you, or how open are you to saying, well, let me see where this leads me? How do you approach risk?
So I'm more on the I'm less risk averse, which means I take more risk.
Yeah, sure.
And I thought that's normal till I met a lot more people. Again, coming from Mumbai, and I think background of a Sindhi, there's just a lot more risk-taking abilities. I've seen a lot of businesses, rise and fail. I've seen my own in my own journey as well. There's a lot of risk which I'm more comfortable to take because I feel I can back myself. So my approach to taking risk is just like a skydiving experience. I haven't done it yet, but let's run with this, where the thrill of jumping is fantastic.
Yes.
But you need to secure yourself with a parachute. Right?
Okay, yes.
Otherwise, you just have a hard fall and potentially not live. So in the same way, the fun is in jumping. The fun is in that experience of skydiving. But for me, it's like, let's do that, but let's harness ourselves with the best parachute. So
right.
My parachutes are faith in myself.
Nice.
Blessings of my gurus.
Yes.
And if those two things are there, then just jump. Otherwise, plane mein to we travel every day or every week or every month. Well, that's no fun there. It's the fun is in jumping. So that's my attitude to risk. And it's paid me dividends so far. So
Well, it's not just paid you dividends. The work you do has impacted and touched many lives. So I think your decision has benefited the many, as we are often taught by our own gurus. I'm going to talk about gurus and mentors in a minute, but you said faith in yourself. I think that's a big word. There's another word beginning from F which cripples people, and we talked about it. It's what gives rise to this whole phenomenon of, oh, it's too risky. It's fear, right? When people have fear, they say, okay, I am safer here, so I will remain. And when they say about ships are safest in the harbor, but that's not what they're built for.
Meant to do, correct.
So I think faith is an antidote to fear in some ways. How do you have so much faith in yourself? Were you always like that, or did you develop it? What did you do?
So it went through a journey, Sriram. So initially, the faith was a lot of cockiness. I can do this. There's nothing. I'm unbeatable. I'm untouchable, and just that teenage and the youth exuberance of
invincibility.
Invincibility. That's the word I was looking for as well. So initially, it started like this, and then there was a lot of ramming through things. Again, coming from India with that mindset that we're 1.5 billion people. You don't push your way through. You're not even getting into the train. Forget anything else. So having said that, then it became again a lot of self-reflection and realized that the fears of what I thought I could achieve, the fears were crippling me to achieve that.
Right.
Because there's always that thought: what if things go wrong? What if things doesn't plan out? Or what if I fail? I think my biggest fear has been, what if I fail?
Sure.
And then there's a corresponding fear to that is, if I fail, how will it impact the people who are dependent on me? So, and I think that changes when, say you're a single versus you're a family man. So as a single, we'll figure something out. Whereas once you have a family and, you have kids who are depending on you, there's a certain different element of fear which comes in. the fear of failure is very, very, prominent there. So even to go through that and get out of that, obviously we've shared one experience, which is called Make It Happen, and the course run by, Swami Swarupananda. That obviously broke a lot of shackles for me. So that's where that self-belief has come in.
Yeah.
And when I look back, there's so many things I've achieved in spite of the fear.
Yeah.
So I continue doing that. It's just self-belief.
Yeah.
But as you rightly said, if you're going to be, in our cocoon of comfort, not much is going to get achieved. You have to push. I feel there's so much more I can do. And there's just have to push myself that little bit every day to do that. Otherwise, comfort is very comfortable. And we all strive for that as well, like, to have a comfortable life. But something keeps telling me, there's a bigger thing I have to achieve. So better things to do.
Better things to do, bigger things to do. Wonderful. You've mentioned Chinmaya Mission. You've mentioned your guru, Swami Swarupananda ji, and you also mentioned Make It Happen. These are all three things that I share in common with you, which is where our paths really crossed, and I'm very grateful for that. I want to talk about the role of gurus and mentors, and I'll give you a bit of my background, and you probably know this, but maybe there's something in there you don't, is that for a number of years, and I wear many hats, and that used to confuse me. And needless to say, it also used to confuse a lot of people around me. It probably still does, but now it's their problem. So I used to feel conflicted within going, who am I? Which one am I? Am I the singer? Am I, whatever I was doing in my career at that time? And I've done a few things. Who am I? And it was with the help of gurus and mentors that I was able to see all of them as one me, as integrated into me. And finally, I was able to own that. So some of my abilities and strengths, I actually disregarded it. I, in fact, even discarded it. I even wondered why the universe had chosen me to have those skills. I didn't value it. And as our Guru Swami Swarupananda said, if you don't value a strength, you don't use it. So I've had my own journey similar to yours. And it was through this, and for those who don't know, and I'll give you some more context, is this wonderful 6-day self-development program that will unshackle you. I mean, there's so much to say about this program, but one positive that came out of it was that for once I could clearly articulate my purpose in life. For many years, it was wishy-washy. Someone said, okay, what's your purpose? Why are you here? Why are you on planet Earth? It was like, yeah, I kind of know, but I could not articulate it. And in many podcasts, Rishi, I bring it to people's attention that here on my wall, and you've probably seen the room, is my purpose is written very clearly here, in case I forget, is to spread joy and inspiration to all like-minded people. And it was at this wonderful 6-day program that on day 3, I think, when I was able to finally articulate it. It was facilitated, enabled by a guru, by a mentor who absolutely knows the ins and outs of the human mind. And it happened through an organization called Chinmaya Mission, which has been around for 75 years. Is that right?
That's right.
And has impacted, billions of lives already. And I'm just one of them, and you're just one of them. So and where I'm going with this is, what is the role for someone to go from here to here, from someone to become even the next big thing, as the show is called, to do great things in life, to feel fulfilled? What is the role of a guru or a mentor, and how have you utilized a guru and a mentor in your life? What has that meant to you?
Yeah. See, all of us are born with mentors, right? So our first mentors, our first gurus are our parents.
Yes. Yeah.
They realize the potential in us before we know it. So they realize that, this guy can actually walk. So they don't just let us crawl around and, we can stay crawling for the rest of our lives. They push us to start walking, which then leads to start running. And then, so that's a very simple example, but they are the first gurus we have where, even our Vedanta teachings, our Hindu culture teaches us, our first gurus are our mother and father, not anyone else. And then comes the mentor and the guru in life. So, it's part of every culture, where the parents are the first gurus to take us on the path of our own potential, to realize our potential.
Sure.
And in life, as a spiritual guru, I feel it's very important. We're very blessed to have that, very fortunate that, there's that realization that, oh, I feel I can only do so much. I'm capped at this. And that frustration comes in, fear takes over, anxiety, takes over. And it's that guru, your mentor, who say, no, you know what? I've seen with other people, I've seen it in my experience, that you're capable of much more. And the guru is there, the mentor is there who understands you. There's a deep amount of reverence and respect for you, rather than the other way around to start with, and sees there's a latent potential in you, with the right advice, with the right environment, with the right direction, guidance. You just have to break that one layer, one shackle, and just get unshackled and go and achieve it. Which I've been very fortunate to have. It's been extremely, extremely grateful. And I've had not only my guru, but mentors have come in from different ways. In the industry, as a mortgage broker, many mentors and many people to learn from. I think it also that the fact that I can, know that I have to learn. I think that's the biggest teaching of a guru. That if I'm ready to learn, they can teach.
If
I think I know it all, then forget it. Nobody can teach. So I think that it's important to have a certain level of humility. And I don't know everything. And how's this person doing it better? How's that person doing it better? What are they doing better? What can I incorporate in my life? So starting from your parents who are pushing your potential, then your spiritual guru, he's trying to make you achieve the entire, the world, at the same time be grounded. And the third is your mentors in your field of work or your profession or your business, and where you're getting to learn constantly and improve constantly. So I think these are the different roles that your guru and mentors play.
Fantastic. No, it's great. I love the structure. And for all of us, even on this podcast or in other areas of our life, I think it's very important to understand the role of mentors. In my case, it has shaped my life. It has changed my life. In some ways, even if I look at it, it has saved my life. And, these are grand, bold, sweeping statements, but I know that they are embedded in fact. So it is really great to see that. It's great to share that with you. And
I'll put one more point here, Sriram, before you go ahead.
Please.
As you said, it shaped your life. When I was on the point of, should I start my own business? Should I continue in a professional life? I was earning pretty well. So let's start from there. I was, a comfortable life, earning well. Number one, number two on my. I was just in sales. So in my sales role, I was number one or number two, really doing extremely well. Had no issues there, but something was missing. And that's the point of time where I did make it happen. As we discussed. And that gave me the confidence to go. You know what? Just go for it.
Yes.
We'll see. Nothing will happen. Nothing untoward will happen. But just go for it. And that's when I went for it. So that guidance was required. And that someone to even believe in me. That happened. So as you said, that changed my life. And I can't. Looking back, there's nothing to thank God I did it. I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't do that.
If you didn't, fantastic. No, I share that sentiment. So it's basically the harness was there, the parachute was there. It was time to jump off that plane, right? So that's basically what it was. So a fantastic approach to risk.
But also one more thing I'll put. You always do a tandem jump.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
So that guru is there with you behind you. You just have to have that faith. So yes. So that's how I see it.
It brings my mind to I think it was a postcard that I saw, and there's I think there's just two footprints, two sets of footprints. Then it becomes one. Then it says, "Oh, you were walking with me to guru or God or mentor." And then you left me. But no, the truth is that it is actually the guru, God, mentor walking, and you're on their shoulders. So it's quite a beautiful, anyway, brought to mind that. But yes, very important to differentiate between, mentors can take you forward. They remove the shackles. But unfortunately, I've discovered and I've seen from personal experience and observation is that we spend a lot of time with people who actually pull us down, who all the energy gets dissipated. And I like to call them the opposite of mentor. They're tormentors, and we've all had
That's a good word.
we've all had our share of that. Cool. Okay, now thank you for sharing that. I want to go down one particular path. Now, you mentioned the role of spirituality. It's obviously played a huge role in your life. It continues to play a role in mine as well. But people have this misconception that the spiritual path is very different to the life we normally lead, or the materialistic path. Now, you're somebody who's very successful in both fields. Okay, you're somebody who's, as you said, number one in sales. In fact, I can't imagine you being number two in sales. But anyway, number one in sales, and you currently run this very successful, award-winning mortgage business where you're absolutely at the top of the game. You know what is happening in that space. You have the heart and mind to assist anyone who comes calling for help, and you have impacted many lives. So you're materialistically very successful, you're spiritually very successful. How do you see them both connect? Are they really different, or are there similar qualities for both of them to succeed in both fields?
I think you need you need both to succeed. I would be very proud to say that, I'm succeeding materially because I'm spiritually very connected. And now you're seeing this a lot. Everyone's saying be mindful, there's mindfulness there.
Yeah,
there's a big wave of meditation. And which are good things, Sriram. It's high time, It's all about connecting with yourself. What is spirituality? It's about realizing who you really are, right?
Who you are, yes.
Exactly. So we've that journey, which I started when I was a teenager. So it being there has propelled me that spirituality and materialism has to exist side by side.
Sure.
It's not mutually exclusive.
Sure.
It then becomes what your mindset is, what your values are, and what your purpose is. You mentioned purpose earlier. Purpose has to be aligned. And that's where the marriage happens. Be successful. What does success look for you? What does it mean for you? And I'll tell you, I'll be very honest. Earning a lot of money was a massive goal to hit.
Sure.
But then there was a lot of what do you call, confusion around that as well. And am I doing it? Will I get fulfillment? And so on and so forth. But then that's when you overlay it with with your spiritual learnings, and like find the right purpose to do it. So I'll share something with you. The purpose is to serve. The reason I started the business as well was, how can I help people? Mortgages as it is a very confusing. There's so many permutation combinations. Am I doing the right thing, wrong thing? There's so many options. It's one of the biggest financial decisions you make in your life. So my purpose was, let me take away all that confusion from my customers. Let me be the one who's there to facilitate this entire process and do it in the most, educated format, give the right information, and essentially be there to help. So ultimately, I got my purpose was, earn a lot, but to serve. There's so much requirement of service in the world that if you all take, it's for me and myself and my family, and some friends. But my purpose has always been to give. This business has allowed me to do that. It's just, otherwise, if it were not this, I would be doing something else. I would be pushed into doing something else which would allow me to serve. So through my work, I want to serve. And that's what KRIA also stands for, is to do good work. By doing good work is to help people. So that's where I'm lucky. My profession allows me to do that.
And I know for a fact that you do. I've been a personal recipient of that myself, and we'll talk about that project in a bit. But I think from a spiritual perspective, again, connecting it to spirituality, we've seen that in the benefit of the many lies your benefit. And when you say, I want to serve somebody, it doesn't come at your cost. When you benefit others, it includes your benefit as well. And when there is
100%.
Collective gain, you're in the collective. So I think some people fail to realize that. And those who've done very well, even if you take a very, Silicon Valley example, like Google, yes, Larry Page and Sergey Brin have done very well for themselves, but it's because they have created something that plays a daily role and benefits the billions, right? So,
correct.
Yeah, so,
in fact, we know that a lot of the large industrialists and these billionaires have committed most of their wealth to charity. So it's a known phenomena, and we need to embrace it. And the faster we embrace it, the more successful we'll be. I think success also then has to be what it means for you. Fulfillment is very important to me.
Yeah.
And this service element brings a lot of fulfillment.
Yeah, fantastic, great. No, you've done a lot of good work already, and I want to talk about how our association, has got from a personal level as well, but from a professional level. As most of the people know, I have been a singer-songwriter for 23 years. Fulfillment comes from music for me. A lot of it does. And recently, last year, I wanted to take a big box, which was to take part in the Grammy Awards race, is to put my hat in the ring and say, hey, I'm a contender too. But it was a difficult dream. And it was a dream facilitated and enabled by community leaders and business leaders like yourself who said, okay, let us support you in this. And for me, that's a big thing, because somebody out there is saying, I believe in you, Sriram. And I know that you do a lot for the community. I'm just a little example. So why do you support the community? Where does that come from? Is there, let me ask you, is there a calculated approach to it, or is it completely organic?
I am nothing without the community myself.
Sure.
Yeah. When I started the business, it was only all my friends, family, and the community which supported me.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt in my mind that the community has made me where I am today.
Yes.
And by you coming and asking was an opportunity for me to give back. One, obviously, I believe in what you do. I'm a big supporter. I've attended your concerts as well, and enjoyed it thoroughly. So you're not going for you're going for the Grammys. Like, come on, it's not it's some local award function which I'm sure you're going to win. It's you're going to the pinnacle of your music levels of putting your hat in, and that takes courage as well. The least I could do was support you. But just to answer your question, the community has given me so much, and now I'm in a position to give back. Why? Of course I would. And you're, as you rightly said, you're a small but important part of that whole community. And I look to give back as much as I can. There are obviously my time, in terms of other resources, whatever we can. Happy to whatever allows me time, resources, more than happy to give back to the community, because it takes a community to build togetherness. And if you're not there to support each other, what are we doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it takes a very big forward-thinking leader, business leader like yourself, to operate from a place of gratitude. So this came from, okay, let me express my gratitude to the community. Let me express my gratitude to other members. And I think that's where there's a lot of gain to be had, collective gain. Again, it's not at the cost of somebody. It's about society getting uplifted and growing together. So I think gratitude is a key lesson. So thank you for reminding. I have to go back to my gratitude journal, which I think I've been slack on. So thank you for reminding me and all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the property market. Right, there's a lot of stuff happening there. Why is it so important? Because Australia, what is Australia made up of? Australia is made up of families. Right, they're families who have the dream of living in their own house, firstly, and they also have the dream of building wealth. Like when we talk about health, we go to a doctor. But when we want financial health, we go, to experts like yourself. And that is very important for families, for their mental health, for their, well-being. People need to be financially healthy. There's no doubt about that.
Correct.
So, talk to us about the property side. Why are you so passionate about it? And what's happening in that space? Give us some golden nuggets as the year ends.
Yeah.
Share your knowledge.
Yes. So again, I can't give you any financial advice. I'm not qualified for that.
Of course.
This is just a chat we're having just to understand what the property market does, right?
Yeah.
So more than the economic side of things, let's talk about a mindset side of things. Interest rates went crashing down during COVID. They've climbed up very quickly over the last few months, and it's really impacted the way people look at property, right?
Yeah.
That's what we would have thought. But guess what? The basic need of, as we say in Hindi, it's very famous, roti kapda makan, right?
Roti kapda makan.
Which is your food, your clothes, and your shelter.
Yeah.
Those are basic needs. And those basic needs still are required, whether you're just starting out or you're a CEO. So wherever you're in the scheme of things, wherever you're in your stage of life, you still need a house. So that property requirement is not going to change just because the interest rates have gone up or down. Where you're going to get it and what type you're going to get, that might change. It depends on your affordability. It depends on your capacity to repay and so on and so forth. So from a mindset perspective, that basic level of security has to be fulfilled. Either they're going to be renting or they're going to be buying a house. And as you're right, Lee said, the best big Australian dream is to own a house, right? Somewhere, somehow, let's just own a house, because that will then set me up for life. And history has proved it that, over this, at least I've been here 13 years, the property market has only gone up, at least in the pockets I've observed. So a lot of people feel it's a safe investment. You're not buying your house as an investment. You're buying your house for your house. You want to stay there. You want to just live there. You're looking at good schools around. You're looking at you want to be close to your community. You want to be close to family. So there are multiple reasons people buy, but people are still buying. And on a macroeconomic level, on a big level, if you zoom out, there are 500,000 people coming into Australia every year. Where are they going to stay? So there's a requirement of property is always going to be there. So if people are thinking, I get asked this question, number one question which I get asked, is this the right time to buy?
Yeah. I think I might have asked.
Again, I make a joke about it that, in 1987 was the best time to buy in Australia.
Yeah.
I just pulled it out of thin air, but I was like, let me just, figure out what happened in 1987. Actually, at that time, the interest rates were at 18% here.
Oh!
And property prices, and property prices were pretty low, apparently, again, I have to double check my figures, but you could get a house in Toorak, which is a very affluent suburb. For $500,000, which right now is a starting price of $5 million, if I'm not wrong. So I used to joke. I just joke about that. 1987 was the best time. A lot of the millennials were not even born at that time. So the 20, 25-year-old people I'm talking to, they're not even born at that time. They're we missed it. Next life.
That's funny.
So, no, jokes apart, I say the best time is when you're ready. The market will do what it has to do. It can go up, down, sideways, forwards, whatever it be. If you're ready, find the right property for yourself, and we are here to back you to get the right lending for you. So that's my short thing I can say about the property market.
I mean, I'm sure it's a big topic and there's lots to say, but thanks for sharing that, because what came to my mind was that we talked about gurus and mentors, and every field has gurus and mentors. And I think a lot of people here see you as a guru and mentor in this space. And I think that's a great thing to be at, because that tells me that there's so much trust, not just in the market, but in your ability, in your expertise. And I think that's really nice to see. And for someone who's wanting to do great things in life and to get out of whatever rock they're under, I think if you can gain expertise and use that to garner trust from the community, I think that's a huge thing. That's huge.
Yeah. No, and that was my endeavor from the start, was that how can I make it easier? And for me to make it easier for you, I should know. Right. So that's what I can provide in education.
Yes.
And I wish I can, I hope this reaches millions of people, but there's simple things like, look after your credit score. Look after the way you look after your, don't miss payments. Don't do any rash decisions. Don't buy a house before you buy a car, things like that. And I'm starting to talk to a lot of, kids and, guys, like, you'll be thrown credit cards at you and all that. People will just take it as free money. It's not. Be very careful. And
that's a lesson that's a lesson that was imparted to our 7-year-old yesterday. So, anyway, but good to hear that. Great. So now look, we could go on and, I always enjoy having conversations with you. No different this time. Only difference is we press the record button, right? That's the only difference. But from a podcast perspective, it does bring me to the very last question in the podcast, which always remains the same. But what fascinates me is that the answers vary a lot. So it's very fascinating. So Rishi Bhatia, let me ask you this. According to you, what is the one must-have, one non-negotiable for someone to become the next big thing?
Can I say two?
Yeah. At least one. Yes.
At least one. Okay. I think very important to have your values. And values is a very broad thing, but I'll narrow it down to two values of service and of love. So to be the next best thing is, and love also is on two paths. And I'll talk about that first. Be there to love everyone, but more importantly, love yourself as well. Don't be harsh on yourself. I know you and I are both very harsh on our own selves.
Not anymore. I used to be.
Exactly. So we're going through that journey as well. Where I was extremely harsh on myself. I still am.
Yes.
But I'm trying to wane that off and be loving to myself that it's okay. Yes. I had set a goal. If I'm not reached it, I'm not going to kill myself to get there.
Yes.
That mindfulness, that self-acceptance, that that love for myself has to be there. And anyone who wants to be the next best thing, big thing, know that. And therefore, that one more value is of patience. But I'll come to that. So love yourself, but love everyone around you as well. It's very important. The people closest to us get the raw end of our emotions all the time.
Sure.
So it's a conscious decision. Like outside in the world, I'll be there very loving and very, happy. But then come home and then we are, with the kids and the spouse, we're not so, all our raw emotions come out. Again, it's just with everyone, if we can just express our love. See that, I'll just share something very quickly. Over the last 2 months, we've had some brokers who committed suicide, So that was in December, last week of December. I was fortunate to attend a series of talks it's called Man Talk, which one of my mentors had initiated. And it's all about men getting together and talking about, and there were these 5 guys, top leaders in our industry, who were saying, a few of them were saying we were ready to commit suicide. We knew exactly what we're doing, when we're doing, how we're going to do it. And either a phone call or an email or something saved them. But it's more like, what is this? What are we working for? So that love which you can express to everyone, and just know that even whatever they might look at outside, something is happening in their life behind the scenes. You'll never know that. So be loving, be gentle, be kind. And the second part of it is service. As you rightly said, in the serving of the many, I will never be missed out. And that's a mindset which I had to grow out of, because I always thought, you're out to get me. I better protect myself.
It's you versus me.
Out to get me. It's always you. It's me versus them. It's me versus the world. But that mindset shift of, that Vasudev Kutumbakam, that we are this one world. And whatever one does, it affects the other. So any positive stuff also affects it positively. So that, emotion or that attitude of service I think if you imbibe in your day-to-day,
yes,
that will take you to the next place. And the third thing, which I mentioned earlier, is patience. I get like a lot of young brokers are talking to me. I'm mentoring a few. They're like, wow, this guy's super successful. Let me, if I just do this over the next 2-3 months, I'll be there. And the answer is great if you can, but patience is required. This year, like it's taken me 9 or 10 years to get here.
right.
And I'm still not there. Like I feel there's so much more to do.
Of course.
But the patience is a very important virtue. Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
But back yourself, have patience. That if you're backing yourself, your time will come. And guess what? When your time comes, you feel you can do even more.
Yeah.
So either you can get into that rat race to do better, or you can get into this mindset of let me serve more and more and more.
Yeah.
But it's a subtle shift, but it's an important shift that let me serve more rather than gain more. So that would be my
fantastic.
My few tips.
Service, love, patience. Fantastic. The triumvirate.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much, Rishi, for your precious time. I greatly appreciate it. I know there's a lot going on right now, and travel plans, all of that is imminent. So very deeply grateful for your time. Highly appreciate you sparing your wisdom as well and your journey. So we are all ready to skydive, making sure that our harnesses and parachutes are in order and discover great big things. So thank you.
No, thanks, Sriram. It's this was a long time in the making, but we finally got here.
We did.
Really happy to chat to you. And always, it's not about sharing the wisdom. It's all about just how can we inspire each other. I've listened to these kind of podcasts and I've learned so many things. And you're doing a great thing by picking our brains to and hope many more people can get inspired. So well done. And thank you.
It's just me being curious. Thank you. Thank you.